So we have different types of levels. So in this, so based on your requirement, you can keep it in which level we should return that one. Either only error time we should return, or else only trace warning level, or else debug level, or else info level. By default info level actually, if you keep it info level, so in the server log itself, so in the console it will display, right? So in the console it will display that. So here why I kept it here, just for what was the input you are getting, you can see in the log itself. So before hitting to any third-party system or else like database connector, so just we need to keep a one logger before that. What was the information we are going to hit to the third-party system, and then after the third-party system also we should keep on logger actually. What was the information we are hitting? What was the information we are getting from the third-party system? So it's a simply logger actually. So internally, yesterday I was saying about this. So internally, it will come up with log4j mechanism. Okay. So we should not add any log4j. Generally in Java, we should add that log4j third-party jar file, right? In the class path, we should add it, right? Otherwise, that log4j mechanism won't work. So here also, we should not require to add it. So by default or Anypoint Studio come up with log4j mechanism. Yeah, tell me, you have any other questions? We'll discuss.
Yeah, I mean, like, so the set period is
yeah, set payload is one of the component in the mule palette. Okay, so it's a you can search directly set payload. Okay, so this is one of the component. Okay, so one of the transformer in the mule palette. So that day we can see segregation action, transformers, components, filters, like that. This is one of the transformer. So what was the purpose of this set payload? So why we will use this payload here? So just we need to hold the payload. Payload means it's a data. Okay, so here always we are playing with the data, right? So now this, if you are keeping HTTP connector, means you are the publisher. You are going to publish your service. You understood, right? So somebody will hit the request based on this URL. So here, so generally I kept it as a local host and 8011. But in the project we should give HTTPS authenticated with credentials, that user ID, password, URL should publish it actually. So that time remote URL we should publish it. So based on this, whoever consuming our service, so they should hit based on your URL, they should hit it. So based on that they will connect it actually. So this HTTP connector is for the RESTful services actually. You understood, right? So here, generally end-to-end scenario, in the front end, in the source system, they have some GUI like whatever the source system it is, might be say Java portal, or else Salesforce Lightning, or else AngularJS, or else PHP, whatever it is. Okay, so end to end will get the request from one of the portal, one of the GUI. Okay, so now we are the middleware people. So that middleware, so that is nothing but our MuleSoft, or else any other middleware. Okay, so now we are getting payload from this guy. Whoever hit the request, right? They have some interface. So end user try to enter the data. Okay, end user try to enter the data. So whenever you will click the submit button, you will get the payload. You will get the payload actually. So that way, we and whatever the middleware developer and then portal developer, so the business requirement is like that actually. Whenever the end user hit the request, the payload will get in the form of one of the format, either it's a JSON or else CSV or else whatever the format it is, right? The JSON will get it in the middleware people. So we'll do some modification on that. So once the modification or filtering or enhancement done, then we'll hit to the external system actually. So here what we are doing, external system, that will hit it one of the database. Suppose its external system is nothing but database, or else suppose this guy is trying to pay some one of the network bill, suppose Airtel bill, he is trying to pay through portal. So then from the portal, whenever he submit it, right, with the information, so then it will talk to the middleware. So from the middleware, we'll talk to the database whenever or else external any other external system, we push that data into the external system. So once we will get the response from the external systems, we'll send back to the portal successfully payment done. So such kind of message will send back actually. But here, so what I'm trying to say here, so this is a HTTP connector we used. So means, so we are the publisher. We are trying to publish our service. This guy, whoever end user, right? He is trying to consume our service. So based on our HTTP connector actually. That's why I kept here HTTP connector. Okay.
Okay.
So
Like
and
set
yeah.
payload is a third party system, right?
No, it's not
Oh,
third-party system here. So it's a one of the transformer just hold the data.
okay.
So coming to
Okay. Okay.
your question, third-party system is nothing but outbound connector. So outbound connector might be it's a HTTP again, or else any
Okay.
other Salesforce connector. We have a outbound connectors actually. So Salesforce and then any Facebook connector we can say. So
Okay.
these are all outbound connectors actually. So means it's an external system we are talking about, right? So but here
Yeah.
this is not external system actually. Set payload is whatever the input you are getting, just we are holding the data. That's it. Here that to here,
Oh,
I just hard code it. I'm not getting any input from the user. I just hold it. I just hard code it actually for understanding purpose. But in real time, so we'll see in future. So we'll how to will get the post methods. Actually here, so through browser we can able to try only the get the request, right? So that's why I didn't send any information through HTTP connector actually. So if you want me to send, I will send that. So that time you have to keep it a post method here. So method type is post. Okay. So now I didn't kept anything. So that's why it allow either a get or post. If you keep it a post, that time so we should send the data through Postman or else any GUI client, that's SOAP GUI. Okay, using that you can send it actually. But here set payload is a transformer, it's not endpoint. Okay, so this is endpoint now. So if you see HTTP, yesterday we discussed about this HTTP connector. So many features are there in the inbound connector. Okay, if you see in the flow there is a segregator is there. This is nothing but a source. This is nothing but a process. Okay, if you drag and drop that HTTP connector in the source, that will act as a inbound connector. Inbound connector mean it will listen the request. It's nothing but HTTP listener. So whoever requested, so that request this will take care and listen the request actually. That is nothing but a HTTP listener. So same HTTP connector, if you drag and drop in the process, this is whole nothing but a process. So this will act as an endpoint. So using this endpoint, we'll talk to any other system. Suppose there is a API exposed by somebody else. Okay. So now we are the publisher to other party, but here, so Mule should get the information from any other web service. So that time, so anybody exposed as a REST service, that time we have to use HTTP connector. We need to fill that information here. You can see here actually a slight difference between this inbound connector and outbound connector. So in the inbound connector we seen so many response and all configuration. Here nothing is there actually. Only add parameter, then path, method, and then here the connector configuration. You can see here host of the other party system means whoever publishing that service, we are going to consume it, right? Mule will consume it, right? That information we should enter it actually. Either it's a HTTP or it's HTTPS. So based on that third party publisher, right? We need to choose it, we need to fill it actually. Okay, so when you will go for endpoint, so if you want to connect a third party system or else any other endpoint external system, so that time you have to use these endpoints. So here HTTP connector acts as a both endpoint as well as inbound as well as outbound actually. Okay, so am I answering your question?
yeah.
But here,
One second.
yeah, tell me.
Can you open the notepad once?
Okay, yeah, tell me.
Here, like the external system, are you accessing the database from the external system, or
Yes, we can say database also. Database also one of the external system, right? Suppose I want to talk with any other Hadoop HBase, Hadoop or else MapReduce database or else Cassandra database. It's nothing but database also other third party system only, right? You can say it's an endpoint
okay,
database
okay,
or
okay.
else FCTC or else in means any other system actually you can say. Okay, Salesforce or
Because
else
what
SAP.
my question is like,
Yeah.
what I thought is like, if it is our local database, we can use it like what do you say, JDBC
Yeah.
class, and
Hmm.
we can access that.
Yeah, it's a local database, but if you go in real time, we should connect with remote system, right? That
Yeah.
is not in Inivo machine or else Inivo side. Might be that is some other server, right? If you are talking to
Hmm.
some other server, obviously it's a endpoint only, right? Other system only, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
See, we are the middleware people. We are always taking the data and then we are pushing the data and then we'll get back the response. Just our task is so we should take the data, then we should in the middleware generally these people who are requesting the data, right? So they can't able to do that much of customization actually. See, simple example, suppose I'm going to create an opportunity. Okay, that is nothing but opti. Okay, so this Cisco have a portal. Cisco have a portal to create the opportunity. Okay, so end user can try to create an opportunity into the one of the Salesforce instance. So here we are getting the payload. Then here is the middleware over MailSoft. So then from the MuleSoft, so we'll talk to one of the Salesforce instance, SFDC instance. Instance means one of the sandbox you can say. Okay, that is one of the server. Okay, here so his target is so whoever end user, so he should create one of the opportunity, means he's going to create a business, he's going to buy some 1,000 adapters from the Cisco. Okay, he's trying to create an opportunity to the Cisco. So then Cisco, this is SFDC instances related to Cisco. He should create the opportunity into the SFDC. Then one of the SFDC EAM look into that. So then he will process it actually. That 1,000 adapters, he can order it, he can prepare it. Once he done, he will send back the response to this guy. Okay. So but immediate response also will get it actually, the top TID. So here we'll get a payload here from the end user. So we'll get a payload as that is what are the parameters like what is the opportunity name and then what is the user ID password, because here we need to establish the connection between MuleSoft and then here SFDC instance, right? So if you want to
Yeah.
establish the connection between two these, but whoever trying to request our MuleSoft, right? That guy should have access to this SFDC instance. That's why he should send user ID also, user ID password also. So here middleware side. So suppose here think like this, that dollar amount every day keep on changing, right? So what these people did, so the dollar amount information they kept into the one of the database, that is nothing but a Oracle database. Okay, so while entering the information into the interface, okay, they should not create the what that opportunity amount actually, because if they want to create it again they have to one-to-one connection established between the portal and the database actually. This type of things we should do in the middleware actually. That is one thing is he should talk to the middleware guy, should talk to the Oracle or else one of the database, because these Cisco people always update that dollar amount in the database. So that's why once we will get the limited payload, we should enhance that payload. How? We should talk with the database, we should get the dollar amount, we should calculate based on that count of that adapters, right? We should calculate that amount, we should prepare it actually. Okay, suppose one more thing is that amount we should calculate in the middleware. That is one thing. Suppose this is a new user. Okay, he is trying to create an opportunity. We should not lose the business, right? So we should allow it. Is the even though new user also. So he is sending he is not a existing user in the SFDC. Okay, but he is trying to create an opportunity. So that time so we should create the user also. That our middleware should take care it. We should create the user, right? For that we need expect some data, some other parameters. We should create that data. We should create that user first in the SFDC. Once account is established, account is created, then after that we need to create opportunity once again. So that type of task will do in the middleware actually. Whatever the things are unable to do in the front end, right, front end system, so that more customization you can say that thing. So creating a user, then calculating some donkey kind of work, right, filtering, enhancement, some enrichment you can say. So all these things we can do in the middleware actually. Okay, so here
Okay.
is
So
yeah, here is again
yeah.
external system is SFTC. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. So between the external system and the local system, like the source system,
Hmm.
so whatever the data is passing between these two
Hmm.
should pass to us, but which is a temporary data storage with us, right?
No, we don't have any temporary storage.
Oh,
Who said? So
okay.
MuleSoft doesn't have any temporary storage. So if we want to suppose think like this, he is trying to create a one opportunity, then we'll insert into the SFDC. Before that, once establish the connection between these MuleSoft and SFDC successfully, we can able to create the opportunity. It's a synchronous call, right? Synchronous call means it should immediately get the response. Once establish the connection, we'll send back to the response to the Cisco portal. The boss successfully created that opportunity. So this is the opportunity ID. So that opportunity ID we have to share to this guy. That is a synchronous. Think like this. Cisco portal have a facility to upload an Excel sheet. So the Excel sheet contains 1,000 opportunities, 1,000 rows. Each row contains one opportunity. He is trying to upload the Excel sheet. He is trying to hit the request at a time. That time what happen, we'll get 1,000 requests at a time. It's nothing but 1,000 requested. Each row is nothing but one opportunity. That time we should parse it. So if you try to hit 1,000 requests at a time, your Salesforce instance unable to serve it, right? So that time, so there is another queuing mechanisms will come into the picture actually. So like ActiveMQ, RabbitMQ, these in the market we have so many queuing mechanisms. So that queuing mechanisms will come into the picture. Like even Amazon also have some queues. Amazon SQLs, Anypoint MQ, and then IBM also separate the queuing mechanism WMQ. So these are all come into the picture. So first what we need to do in the middleware, once we get 1,000 opportunities, that Excel sheet, we should parse it first. We should parse it. Whatever the information this guy was expecting, we should prepare it. We should store into the ActiveMQ. Okay. So once you store into the ActiveMQ, one by one message will pull out, then we'll push it to the SFTs. That say MuleSoft will take care actually. So we should push the information into the ActiveMQ. So then from the ActiveMQ, based on the priority, we can set the priority also, which opportunity we should create the first. So that from that ActiveMQ again we'll pull it. So then we'll push into the SFTs. So, but coming to your question, MuleSoft doesn't have any temporary storage. For the storage purpose, we should go for this type of chain mechanism. Is it clear?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But so MuleSoft have not that much storage actually. Limited storage is there. So which type of storage is exactly? Suppose here user is trying to hit the request. User is trying to hit the request. Suppose user first time he is trying to create the request of T1, or else he is trying to pay the amount. Okay, so he is trying to pay the amount. So by mistakenly in the GUI side, if you see some of the submit buttons, once click the submit button, generally they should disable it. Understood, right? Generally
Yeah.
they should disable it. If suppose that whoever implement that GUI, he's he unable to, or else he didn't implement that part. Once user hit the request, he should disable it. If he not disable it, so as an end user, he is not a technical, right? He click again, because he don't know what was happening inside. He click once again. That time what happened? We'll get a duplicate transaction. You understood, right? So same transaction will get once again if you click once again, right? So that time in the mule side we can handle it. Actually there is a one object storage is there. Using that object storage, so whatever the duplicate transaction ID we are getting, so that we can capture it. You can send back to the GUI, boss, this is a duplicate transaction we are getting. Okay, so that type of things we can do it in the middleware. That is a limited storage. You are clear? Any other questions?
Yeah, clear. What if I'm taking too much of time?
Oh, no issue. Okay. Ramya, do you have any questions regarding yesterday's session?
No, Venkat, I'm good.
Yeah. Sunita, actually, this is the third day session. Okay, so we already started the flow implementation also. I will share the 2 days recordings. Okay, previous day and before day. I will share the recording sessions. Just go through it. So if you have any questions, we'll discuss. So it's a basics only. We are not at started real tech things. So we just how to create the flow. So then I was explaining about this Anypoint Studio. So I heard Venu told already you are a Java developer, right? So I guess you already aware of Eclipse, right? So it's like it's like Eclipse only. You can see all the shortcuts and all. It's look like Eclipse. What these people did, they took the basic layer of Eclipse. On top of that, these people implemented this Anypoint Studio. So the freeware, right? So anybody can anybody can add, enhance it actually. So like that, these people took that layer and then these people enhanced it. So they will release as a Anypoint Studio. Okay. So I was explaining these parts and all. So what are the parts in this Anypoint Studio? What was the structure of our mail project and all I was explaining. Just go through it. Okay. If you have any questions, we'll discuss.
Yeah, sure, Venkat.
Thank you.
Okay, sure, Venkat.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So here, coming to this, yesterday I was drag and drop this component. Here there is a palette is there. The palette is contains all the components. So different types of components like transformers, scopes and endpoints, components, and then scopes, flow control, and then error handling. These are all different components actually. So here this Anypoint Studio is this MuleSoft is a it's a freeware, and then it's have two versions, community edition and enterprise edition. Okay, here all your coding almost 30%, 40% it's a configuration kind of thing only. Just we need to drag and drop it, so that we need to fill the data. Suppose if you want to connect with Amazon S3, I just drag and drop that Amazon S3. Amazon S3 is the one of the external, I mean it's a client we can say. So using this Amazon S3, we'll talk to the Amazon S3 bucket. S3 bucket means suppose we'll store some data in the bucket. Okay, in the Amazon we can store it actually. So we can pull the message, and we can push it like that. So many operations are there actually. So many operations are there. You can see list of operations here. These are all operations we can achieve it using this Amazon S3 connector, this one. So these are client for Amazon S3 thing actually. So this was implemented by MuleSoft. Okay, so here generally if there is no component, we should write lots of code actually, but here simple configuration. If you use this, fill this configuration properly, that is access key and then secret key that is shared by Amazon people. Once you fill this, the basic information, So we can able to connect with Amazon S3. We can pull the message, we can push the message, whatever your requirement, right? That you can achieve it, like delete bucket and delete object and get the content. All this we can achieve it actually. We should not write any code, just a simple configuration. So when the Java code and again that coding is required, so if client was asking more customization, so that time you have to use our Java code, or else whatever the technology people are familiar, that technology we have to use it actually. So customization in the sense, suppose we have already so many transformers are there here, so many connectors are there. Suppose here I can see transformers. See, so these are all connectors actually. If you want to talk any other systems, so these are all the connectors. You can say NetSuite. NetSuite also frequently people are using. So NetSuite is one of the CRM application, right? For connecting CRM, you can use that NetSuite. And then PeopleSoft also one of the CRM application. So that is like Salesforce. Earlier Salesforce, PeopleSoft is the more popular, and then SAP, and then SFTP, SMTP, and Salesforce. These are all the connectors actually. Suppose think like that when you will go for coding or else customization. So suppose here one of the MapRDB, one of the database. Okay, so this connector is not available in the MuleSoft. Okay, so this MapRDB, when this come into the picture, there is a Hadoop is there. You people are aware that Hadoop. On top of the Hadoop, in the Hadoop, we just dump the data. It's a NoSQL database. We'll just dump the data. So we should not modification. We should not delete anything actually. So that's why these people are introduced. MapRDB is the top layer of the Hadoop database, Hadoop system. So that's why for connecting MapRDB, there is no connector in the MuleSoft actually. So this time we should go for custom connector. We should implement that custom connector. Further, they gave a feature to implement that custom connector also. They will give the template. So the connection code we should write it actually. It's like a Java code. So how will establish the connection between our Oracle to Java portal, or else MySQL to Java. Similar way, MapRDB to MuleSoft, we can write the code, we can establish the connection. Accordingly, we can create our custom connector actually. So that time we should write some code. Apart from that, if it is a normal requirements, generally requirements are like it's a Salesforce integration, or else SAP integration, or else database migration, and then I heard some PeopleSoft, and then NetSuite also there, some of the requirements. Almost all the connectors are available in the MuleSoft actually. Here web service consumer, if you want to talk any soap service, right? Somebody exposed as a soap service, right? So we should consume it from the MuleSoft. We should consume it. Further also they gave web service consumer to consume it actually. Suppose you are a you want to expose as a publish as a soap service. So that time there is a component called CXF. So Java people already aware of CXF actually. So that CXF you can drag and drop it. We just configure it. So that's it actually. So based on that WSDL you can write it the CXF, or else you can write little bit Java code. We can publish as a SOAP service actually. So that is about the transformers and all. Okay, so coming to here, this flow is a combination of message process. You can say all the whatever the component are available in the palette, we can call it as a message process. So this our flow is, it's a combination of message process, whatever it is, either it's a connector or else scope or else endpoint, whatever it is, we'll call it as a message processor. So our flow is a combination of message processor. Okay, so in this I just drag and drop HTTP connector here. In the HTTP connector I fill this data. So this is the configuration of that HTTP connector, listener configuration, this one, because we should listen others request actually. Okay, because we are publishing our endpoint. Okay, so somebody hit the request, we should listen it actually. So that's why here I kept it as a HTTP listener, okay, with path and all. So then once you get the request, so here internally what happened, so the event driven architecture implemented already internally. So that's why once you get the request, it will push to the next message process actually. Once got the request here, the data, whatever the data we are getting here, again it will push to the next level. That is automatically happen. So no need to request ourselves actually. So that is automatically, once process this, it will go next level actually. So that will go on based on our requirement. So a HTTP connector, it will access both like requester respond as well as. So that's why once it will take the request, so once your flow done, it will come back, it will give it back to the response, right? So that is the thing. And then here we can implement the error handling also. We'll see in future how to implement error handling and all. Anything goes wrong in your flow, right? So that will come back to the error handling. In the error handling, we should implement. Suppose so in your flow we are trying to talk some database. So by mistakenly user ID password got wrong, or else suddenly the database whoever working on that, they change the database, but we are using still old user ID password, but they didn't update us. So then we are trying to hit same request again, we'll get a invalid credentials, then we'll get a SQL exception kind of thing, right? Generally if any user ID password get wrong, we'll get a SQL exception. So then that SQL exception we should catch here, okay? We should send back to the user actually, right? So we should send back to the user, boss, you are sending wrong credentials. Because of this, we are getting this exception. Detailed error we send back to the consumer actually, whoever consuming our service. So that we should handle error handling part. We'll see the later. So coming to this flow, now that continuation of yesterday's session. So we deployed that, we got that output, right? So again I'm trying to deploy it. We'll see the debug mode and all. So run as mule application. So again, so this Anypoint Studio come up with the internal server called JT server. No need to add any plugin. So in a development mode, so we'll use that JT server. We can able to deploy that into the JT server actually. So run as mule application. I need to save that. Here we can see server logs. Anything goes wrong, any exception is came, so then we can see here. Based on that, we should rectify that issue in the flow. Then we have to work accordingly. So we can see the status. So demo payload is my application name. So then domain name is default. We'll discuss guys what is meant by domain and all. So as of now, default domain. So next one is status is deployed. Once you deploy, so then here we need to capture that what port you gave, then what was the base path you gave, that we need to take it. So then we need to request it, I guess. So I'm just requesting through browser HTTP. Localhost is my host name, 8081 is my port number. So the next one is path is demo guys. Path is demo. So why I'm segregating all these things generally guys, so in you know, so in server multiple things are running, right? Suppose any server if we take, so we deploy the application, so the server is contains multiple instances, right? Suppose we just deployed 10 applications into the 10 tomcats, right? So we can keep it multiple tomcats into the server. Each person is deployed their application into the tomcat, right? So all tomcats are parallelly running. So then this is a segregation guys. So one is here is the port number. Based on the port number, it will talk to specific tomcat, right, in the server. And then demo, so this is a path. So based on path also, so it will talk to the particular application. My application port number is 8081, and then means my tomcat port number, and then demo is it's a context path, you can say, or else base path. So based on that, it will talk to your application only. You should not talk to other application. That is the segregation. In single Tomcat also we can keep multiple apps, right? Multiple apps. So that way it will talk. So that time, you know, port number is common, the base path is different. I'm trying to hit the request. What happened? What was the port number? Eight 011 is the port number, guys. So just keep it as a. Okay, see this, guys, same thing will run in a debug mode. We'll see the step by step how it will process. So right click on here, so choose toggle breakpoint. So then we should run as a developer, always we should run it as a debug mode, guys. So that's why right click here, debug as mule application. Okay, it will ask the dialog, confirm perspective switch. So the perspective got changed, look and feel of this Anypoint Studio got changed. Now hit the request. See this, the debug came and stopped here because we keep it as a that toggle breakpoint, right? So you can see here, guys, what was the information we are getting. So from the payload, from the input, we are not getting anything actually. So that is nothing but a null payload you are getting. Okay. In the logger, I'm trying to display it, that payload actually. So payload means the data, whatever the input data we are getting, that data I'm trying to display it. But here nothing we are getting, so that's why in the logger you can see, so in the console it will display here, right? You can see input request data is null, right? Because we are not getting anything from the user. We'll see that one also, because here we are hitting the get request, right? Through browser we can hit only get request. So next step is in the payload. In the payload, I just hard code the data. So whatever you hard coded, right, that as it is, it was displaying here. You can see the how will process next level. So here there is F6 is a shortcut actually, or else you can see the symbol. You can see the symbol. Click next means step by step, right? So we can see the step by step what was happening exactly. You can see here, or else resume option is F8. If you click F8, it will directly go. Okay, it won't stop anywhere. Wherever you kept it as a toggle breakpoint, that location it got stopped. It's like a you same thing in Java also we debug it, right? Step by step we will see it. Same thing here also. So there is a there also F6 only, I guess, F6 and then F8. So apart from that, you can see so many things in the inbound properties file here. So see this accept and which browser you are trying, you can see user agent, which browser user is trying, you can see this, and then so you can see HTTP version, HTTP URI parameters is 0, and then you can see the URI, that is a demo, path also demo. You can see remote address, that is 127.0.0.1 is nothing but a local host, relative path also demo. You can see so many things in the inbound connectors, inbound properties file, guys, in the debug mode. Similarly, you can see variables. If you define any variables in our flow, you can see here actually. So here in MuleSoft we have three types of variables. One is flow variable, and then session variable, and third one is record variable. So whatever the variable you defined here, you can see the flow variables here. Flow variable is it's only about flow variable. If you want to see the session variable, you can see here. In the debug mode only you can see this, guys. So session variables you can see it actually. Coming to scope also I'm explaining now itself. So flow variable, if you define any flow variable, the scope of the flow variable is within this flow, or else any subflow you are calling that subflow actually. So then coming to session actually, the scope of the session is whole application. It's not only flow actually. In your application might be you are using some other 10-15 flows. So the scope is a whole application actually. Coming to record variable, when you will go for record variable, if you are working within a batch job, if you are working in any batch job, that will go for record, actually record variable. So that is about variables. And then outbound properties, guys. This is the first one is inbound properties. Next one is variables. It's nothing but a flow variables. Next one is outbound property. Outbound properties means, so now we are getting a inbound properties, right? So outbound properties means there is an endpoint. Okay, so we are drag and drop that endpoint. So whatever the parameters we are hitting, right, it was expecting that. So the inbound properties becomes an outbound properties, guys. You understood, right? So suppose in this case, if you drag and drop any endpoint here, means any external system, that is a Salesforce.